Sean is somebody who very much hopes that this can be made coherent. I would say I'm skeptical that it can. So I think the right thing to say is that there is something like 2.5 great traditions of thought now about how to solve the measurement problem as a scientific problem, okay? There is this collapse tradition, there is this extra variable tradition or hidden variable tradition, and there is this many worlds tradition. And we're now in the happy circumstance where really smart people all over the world are working hard at elaborating and precisifying and clarifying these proposals. And of course, everyone hopes that tomorrow somebody's going to come up with another tradition, okay? Specifically about the true traditions that I know make sense, the extra variable tradition and the collapse tradition, they make different experimental predictions. And we know exactly which experiments they make different predictions about, but we also know why those experiments are going to be very hard to do with currently available technology. Let me add to that in the last 30 years or so, experimentalists have been more clever than anybody expected or hoped that they were going to be. And the possibility of us actually doing some experiments which really will begin to discriminate between these two traditions, I think is something that people are more hopeful about than they were over the last 30 years. It still looks very daunting in all kinds of ways. We'll see, okay? I mean, what's true is that certain early versions of the collapse theories have already been ruled out by experiments that we've done, which is a very encouraging development. Still, we don't have experiments yet that can distinguish decisively between the extra variable theories and the collapse theories. But like I say, we know exactly what experiments we would need to do in order to make that distinction. We know exactly what the nature of the differences between the empirical predictions that these two sorts of theories make is. And it's just a matter of the fact that these experiments are for the moment beyond what we're technologically in a position to do. The case of the many worlds theories is a little more amorphous. I mean, if those theories are coherent, then as far as we can tell, their predictions will agree with the extra variable theories and will disagree with the collapse theories. But as I say, there's a question, at least in my mind, of whether they're actually coherent at all.
Is it the case then that there's underdetermination between the Bohmian theory and the many worlds theory?
And the many worlds theory? As far as we can tell at the moment, well, like I say, there's not underdetermination if the many worlds theory isn't coherent.
Right.
Okay. If I imagine a world in which the many worlds theories are coherent, okay, then insofar as we can see at the moment, and this is not a technological problem, this is a theoretical problem. Insofar as we can see at the moment, there is no even in principle possible experiment that could distinguish between them. So if the many worlds theories really are incoherent, then we're facing a real principled underdetermination.
And am I right that you're leaning more toward the GRW spontaneous?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
No, I would say that I'm pretty agnostic between collapse theories and extra variables theories. It's true that there are all kinds of ways in which if collapse theories were true, they would be very nice. That would be a very nice thing vis-a-vis certain other areas of the foundations of physics, like the foundations of statistical mechanics and so on. That is, if the GRW theory were true, it would sort of revolutionize the way we think about the foundations of statistical mechanics in a very nice way. The way we think about it now, there are two completely separate places where chances fundamentally enter into the evolution of the world. If the GRW theory were true, it would collapse those two into one. So that would be very nice. But I don't, this comes in under the category of advice to God about how the world should have been constructed. I don't know if it's true or not, okay? If it turns out to be true, which is an experimental question, then it's going to have these nice consequences. I've worked on thinking through those consequences a lot, so it might look to people as if I prefer the GRW theory, but no, I mean, it seems to me the only honest answer is, how the hell should I know? This is an experimental question.